good. That's good. We can use that. Okay. So what we have done till now is we have studied about the topic part. So let's move into the how we have to actually start writing the research questions. Okay, so all of you may have your research idea, but that research idea have to move into a category called research question. So for example, you talk about job recruitment using online methods. So in this, what should be your research questions is, how effective is recruiting new staff using internet in comparison to traditional methods? So that is your research question. So research question is a question being raised in your research idea. Okay, so the next step of that is research objective. Is the research question, you have to make a statement. When you make a actionable statement, then that becomes research objectives. It is clear, simple, specific statement what you intend to do. Okay, so what is the result you are trying to achieve? That is actually is called research objective. Remember, this research question and research objectives are related. You say, this is my research question, but your objective is something else, means wrong. Because you say research question is this, means you say this is my research problem. Then your objective have to be linked with that. You say there are 5 problems. Then you should have 5 questions. You should have 5 objectives. So you say that I have 4 problems. I have 7 objectives. Then you have problem. Okay. So always there needs to be a sort of alignment. So look at this one. Okay. So why have organizations introduced employee communication scheme? This is my research question. Okay. So my objective is to evaluate organizations' objectives for employee communication scheme. So this is a question and this is my statement. Okay, so this is my objective. So when you try to write your objectives, try to make sure that you use actionable verbs. Okay, like evaluate, establish, analyze, examine. Try to use those type of verbs. So when you try to use those type of verbs, there is something called Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy actually says at your level, you have to use higher order verbs. Okay, not lower order verbs. So if you look at the entire education system itself, there is different levels, level 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what is your level? Actually, you are in level 7. Master's programs are called as level 7 programs. Level 4 is bachelor's year 1, year 2, year 3, and master's. So if you keep on adding lower level, lower order verbs, then it is not good. So for example, you say to explain, to describe, it is not good. Maybe after 5 objectives, 1 is to explain, is okay. But you put all 5, explain, describe, then it is not good, because that comes under the category of here, lower order verbs. Use higher order verbs. These are the verbs. I have gathered it for you. It is very simple for you. So I suggest you use to analyze, okay, to evaluate, to apprise, those type of words, to assess. So this is all higher order verbs. So try to use more higher order verbs. Avoid this. If you need to use this, after 5 objectives, maybe 1 can be from here. To describe, to identify, maybe 1. Then move to this. Because you are master students, so you have to look at higher order verbs. Okay. So when you fix your objectives, try to be smart, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So you know about this. So try to fix your objective, which is more clear on that particular way. So when you look at your questions, try to ask questions like what and why. Okay, so when you write your research questions, see what, why, how would actually help. Okay, so try to ask something in those levels. So if you use what, then that is called descriptive research. We'll study about this next week. Okay, so when you try to write about your uh, objectives, think about the theories. When you think about the theories, there are three levels of theories. Some are grand theories, some are middle range theories, some are substantiative theories. Grand theories means these theories are major contribution to the world. For example, Darwin's theory of evolution, that is grand theory. What is middle range theory? So you have a lot of theories. You should have studied about motivation theories, leadership theories. Leadership means, for example, you have trait theories, you have behavioral theories like that. Room's valence theory. These are all leadership theories. Talk about motivation, you say Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, Herzberg's theory. So those type of things. Then there is a third theory called substantiative theory. These are theories that are of specific context. So when you write your review of literature, when you write your theories, these are the theories. So these are your theories, what you actually write of your specific problem. Okay. This is a sample thing. So this is what I would like to see in your first email to me. Okay, so something like this. You say that this is my topic and this is my objectives. There is something called research aim, one or two aims you may have. Objectives, you may have 4 or 5 objectives. You see, to evaluate, to study, to analyze, something like this. Then write research questions and objectives. So you can see, to evaluate consumer buying behavior towards Singapore Airlines. The research question is, with prevailing market condition, is it important to evaluate consumer buying behavior? This is a research question. So everybody studied, but why I'm studying now with prevailing COVID situation is studying about buyer behavior very important. So then you say, to study about the buyer behavior is my objective. So you raise a question and then your statement for that is actually your actionable statement for that is your objective. So this is the sample. So you see my earlier samples also. So this is my sample. Use this sample, slide 55. So you will be able to write. Okay. So you need to understand these are the assessment part in your final project, so strategic project. Okay, so introduction, context, research, objectives. Okay, so what we have actually studied is only this. Hypothesis, I haven't actually taught you. Hypothesis, Kumar will be spending a lot of time about that. But at this point of time, when you think about hypothesis, think that it is something related. It has to be related with your objectives. So if I ask you, can you actually give me 4 hypotheses? If you're writing 4 objectives, give me 4 hypotheses. So usually in hypothesis, there is something called null hypothesis. There is something called alternate hypothesis. What is null hypothesis is, it is a negative statement. Alternate hypothesis is opposite to that. You can see there is no significant relationship between variable 1 and variable 2, price and sales of tickets. So there is no significant relation. So this is a statement. You collect data, ticket data, price data, and then try to do your analysis and then say whether you accept this or reject this. If you reject this, then it is alternate hypothesis. It is a positive statement.
So this is just meant to test the data set we have, right?
Yes.
After testing, we develop that's your mean variance, and then after that we need to run simulations on the balance sheet to come up with recommendations.
If you're using simulation, that is one of the tool, analysis tool, what you're saying. So
And this is just the start of
this is the start.
to quantify if you have the appropriate data.
Yes, yes, yes.
And not the main of your thesis.
No, this is something, see, using hypothesis, what University of London requires is, at this stage, if you have 5 hypotheses, you test and show me, I'm okay. But there are some of the students, what they do is, for few doctoral theses, I have seen they use 20 hypotheses. Their entire analysis, they base that one based on the hypothesis. But at the master's level, we don't expect you to be that strong in your analytics. Okay, that's at the doctorate level. But I leave it to you. If you want, if you're very comfortable doing more, then it is okay. I will share a few of